10. This week I'm reviewing number 8, which is the third-person shooter developed by Epic Games, Gears of War. Gears takes place on the fictional planet of Sera, where a liquid known as emulsion is highly valued and several wars were fought over its usage. One such case was the Pendulum Wars, a 79-year-long war where the coalition of Arctic governments, or COG, came into power. At the end of the Pendulum Wars came a merging state when an army of underground dwellers known as the Locusts, kind of like Morlocks, shit, launched their attack on humanity. The COG is soon the only government left on Sera. The game follows the actions of Delta Squad, consisting of Marcus Phoenix, voiced by John DiMaggio, Dominic Santiago, Damon Baird, and Augustus Cole, who's voiced by Lester Spite. You may know him from My Wife and Kids. Of course, other members come into the squad as the games progress. The first game starts 14 years after a merchant stay. Marcus is reinstated into the military after spending 4 years in prison for abandoning his post and attempting to save his father, Adam. Dom releases him and takes him to meet Delta Squad. The squad is on a mission to retrieve a device called a resonator, which will map out the hollow, caverns which the Locust inhabits. Later, they will deploy the Lightmas Bomb to destroy said tunnels. In the process, they lose both Lieutenant Kim and Anthony Carmine to Locust attacks, while gaining Baird and Cole from Alpha. Phoenix is promoted by Colonel Hoffman to Sergeant, and Phoenix then leads the remaining soldiers to a mining facility into the outer hollows, which they will then use to deploy the resonator. Although they successfully detonate the resonator, it fails to map the entire tunnel network. Somehow Baird finds a larger map that originates from Phoenix's old home in his father's laboratory. After collecting the data, the group fights their way through heavy Locust resistance and boards a train carrying the Lightmas bomb. On board is General Ram, who Marcus and Dom have to kill before activating the bomb. General Ram, of course, is leading the Locust forces at the moment. The bomb wipes out the tunnel network. However, while Hoffman is delivering a victory speech, the Locust Queen can be heard saying that the Locust will keep on fighting. Gears of War 2 keeps with that promise and takes place 6 months after the first. The bomb caused much of the emulsion to vaporise, causing a disease called Ruslan to spread among the human population. The Locust is still on the attack, and the cities of Tolan and Montevado suddenly disappear. The COG launches a massive counter-offensive to invade the Locust Hollow using grind lifts that drill into the ground. Delta, now consisting of Marcus, Dom and Benjamin Carmine, is joined by Dizzy, a conscripted grind lift driver, and Ty. Once the grind lifts are deployed, the COG are attacked by the Locust's new leader, Scourge. Ty is captured and Dizzy narrowly escapes. The rest of the squad enters the hollow and finds a giant rift worm sinking the human cities around Jacinto, the last human refuge. Delta is ambushed by the Locust, only to be rescued by Cole. Soon after, they free Baird from a Locust pen, and while boarding a prison barge, they find Ty, who, after being tortured, takes his own life. Trying to escape on a King Raven gunship, Delta is attacked by the rift worm and swallowed whole. Still alive, Delta decides to kill the worm and attempt to prevent the sinking of more cities. However, Carmine is eaten alive by the worm's parasites. Ouch. Squads cut through the worm's tree hearts and narrowly avoids being drowned before escaping. Hoffman then orders the group to investigate an abandoned COG outpost where they encounter experimental creatures of unknown origin, and then learn of a backdoor into the hollow. Baird and Cole stay behind at the entrance to evacuate a group of stranded, while Dom and Marcus explore further. Finding Dom's lost wife within the mining camps of the hollow, Dom reluctantly euthanizes her after seeing that she is severely disfigured and traumatized, unable to communicate. Mixing on, Marcus and Dom enter the Locust stronghold using Jack, the squad's utility robot, to signal for COG forces from the surface, and are soon joined by Baird and Cole. Delta Squad find that the Locust is involved in a civil war between them and the emulsion-exposed Lambent. Inside the fortress, the squad find messages from Adam Phoenix which suggests a way to end the war rather than killing the Queen. Sink Jacinto to let the seawater flood into the hollow. After confronting the Queen herself, who turns out to be quite a looker for a strange monster thingy, they learn that she is in fact pursuing the same plan. Marcus faces off with Scourge, but the Queen escapes on a Reaver. They soon follow after, chased by Scourge on his Hydra, basically a Reaver on steroids. After killing him and reaching Jacinto, which is being evacuated so the city can be sank using a Lightmas bomb, Dom and Marcus hijack a Brumac and clear the nearby tunnel so the bomb can be deployed. Upon reaching a lake of emulsion, the Brumac begins to mutate and causes the bomb carrying King Raven to crash. Lucky enough. Marcus comes up with a plan that will use the Lambent's explosive properties to replace the bomb, and using the Hammer of Dawn, kills Brumac, causing Jacinto to sink and the Hollow to flood with water. The Cog forces are seen evacuating while the Queen can be heard talking about unintended legacies. Adam Phoenix has heard of the credits, revealing that he is, in fact, still alive. 18 months after the sinking of Jacinto is where the third game starts, and the last in the trilogy. The human survivors have moved to the island of Vectis to rebuild. After the generally quiet period, the Lambent begin to emerge from the underground. Chairman Prescott, who once led the Cog, has abandoned, and now leaderless and forced to abandon the island, Hoffman takes some survivors to Anvil Gate, while Delta set off on a Raven's Nest class carrier, the CNV Sovereign, to avoid Lambent incursions. At the start of the game, Cole and his squad are out looking for supplies when Prescott arrives on the Sovereign, giving Marcus a data disc that shows his father's still alive. The ship is soon attacked by Lambent Leviathan, where Marcus and his team lure it into a trap set by Bard and Cole on a nearby bridge. Leviathan is destroyed along with the ship. Prescott is mortally wounded, but before dying he provides an encryption key with the location of Adam Phoenix, a secret base known as Azura. Leaving some members behind to take care of the wounded, the rest of the Delta squad take off for Anvil Base, where Hoffman holds the equipment to decode the key. The newest members, along with Anya, the squad's old control operative, now turned Gear, take care for the wounded. The Gears travel across new Locust control bases and find that the Locust Queen Mira is still alive, desperate to save her race. The team hijacks a Locust gas barge to make the trip that little bit quicker, stopping to help Dizzy along the way. Arriving at Anvil Gate, they find that it's defending against the Locust onslaught. Once saved, Hoffman reviews the encryption key and finds that Izuri is actually an island protected by a man-made maelstrom. The only way there is by submarine, which, as luck would have it, is located in a naval base near the ruins of Char, a nearby city. However, they need fuel. Dom suggests travelling to Mercy, an emulsion filling station that is also home to Dom's dead wife, Maria. At Mercy, they discover that not only does the Lambent infection affect the Locust, it also has spread to humans, turning them into farmers. In a bid to escape the Forsaken Town, Dom sacrifices himself in one of the most tragic cutscenes, I may add, by driving a truck into an oil tanker, killing the Lambent forces while saving his friends. Turning to the last option, Char, they come across a group of stranded led by Griffin, who despises the Cog due to Char being one of the first chosen cities in the Hammer of Dawn counter-strikes. Griffin holds Dizzy hostage, forcing the Geese to retrieve a batch of emulsion from him. When they return, they find that the settlement is being attacked by Queen Mira. Gears escape with Dizzy, while Griffin vows to get revenge for the stranded dead. The team makes their way to the naval base, and after repairing and refueling the submarine, sets off for Azura. Slipping under the maelstrom, they find that Azura is occupied by the last remnants of the Locust. The teams deduce that Azura was created by Prescott to save the world's elite prior to the Locust attacks. Adam, luckily enough, is able to contact the team via security terminals and explains that he has a cure to stop the Lambent. En route to Adam's safe house, the team shuts down the maelstrom generator, allowing the last of the Cog to provide air and ground support to arrive on the island. Queen Mira reveals that Adam was working for her for 20 years and wishes to stop his plan because Adam's cure will also kill the Locust. Upon reaching Adam, he explains that emulsion is a parasite that is threatening to destroy Sarah. Adam has developed an energy wave, kind of like a neutron bomb, that only destroys infected cells. Adam tested this by injecting himself with doses of emulsion. Once activated, the energy wave kills Adam, who has time to tell Marcus to go live for him, or something along those lines. Marcus, grief-stricken, stabs Mira with Dom's knife. Good enough for the bitch, to be honest. The Gears, along with Clayton Carmine, who, surprisingly given his family's history, has survived. Woohoo! The game ends with Anya and Marcus sitting alone on the beach, finally showing their feelings for one another. Aww. This series gets number 8 because for a third-person shooter to be so emotion-driven is extremely rare, and this game catches those moments perfectly. The characters are relatable, and each one of their deaths is a blow to the gamer. This game really shows that a story can have something for everyone, while still being a bitchin' game full of blood, guts, and of course, chainsaws.
Delta Squad is in your house, bitch! You hear that shit? Your grubby ass bitches are going down! Like way down! Dead down! So down you ain't gonna know which way is up! Your ass is gonna be crying till your skink ass queen. Oh, mommy, you let the bad man hurt us. Fuck you. We gonna whoop your mama's ass. Whoa! There we go.
I am Kevin O'Donoghue and not Opie from Sons of Anarchy. Hope you just enjoyed Seany's segment. For my top number 8, I think we're on this week, I'm going with Terry Gilliam's 12 Monkeys. The story starts in a grim post-apocalyptic future where the surviving population is forced to live underground after a deadly virus was released between the years 96 and 97. Convicted criminal James Cole, played by Bruce Willis, is offered a chance of a pardon by the lead scientist of the time, but only if he agrees to go back on a dangerous mission back to the past to locate information on the origin of the virus and, if possible, obtain a pure sample of the virus so they can create a cure. It is believed that the virus was released by a terrorist group known as the Army of the 12 Monkeys. On Cole's first trip, he arrives in Baltimore in 1990, not 96 as planned. He is soon arrested and hospitalized in a mental institution on the diagnosis of one Dr. Catherine Riley, played by Madeline Stowe. There he encounters Jeffrey Goins, played by Brad Pitt, a fellow mental patient who is not only batshit crazy, but also has fanatical beliefs in animal rights and anti-consumerism. Cole tries unsuccessfully to leave a voicemail message, we all know what that's like, on a number monitored by the scientists in the future. After a failed escape attempt, Cole is restrained and locked away in a cell, but disappears and returns to the future. In his own time, Cole is interviewed by the scientists who play a distorted voicemail message which gives the location of the Army of the 12 Monkeys and states that they are responsible for the virus. He's also shown photos of numerous people, including Grinds. The scientists send him back to 1996. Cole kidnaps Riley and sets out in search of Grinds, learning that he is the founder of the Army of the 12 Monkeys. When confronted, however, Grinds denies any involvement with the virus and suggests that wiping out humanity was Cole's idea originally, brushed at the asylum in 1990. Cole vanishes again as the police approach. After Cole disappears, Riley begins to doubt her diagnosis of Cole in the first place, as she finds evidence that he is telling the truth, including a photograph from World War I, which Cole appears in. Cole, on the other hand, convinces himself that the future experiences are just hallucinations, and persuades the scientists to send him back again. Riley attempts to settle the question of Cole's sanity by leaving a voicemail message at the number he provided, creating the message that the scientist played prior to him returning on his second mission. They both now realise that the oncoming plague is real and make plans to enjoy the time that they have left. Bow chicka bow wow. On their way to the airport, they learn that the Army of the 12 Monkeys is actually a decoy, and all the army has done is delay traffic by releasing all the animals in the zoo. At the airport, Cole leaves a last message telling the scientists that they are on the wrong track following the Army of the 12 Monkeys, and that he will not be returning. He is soon confronted by Jose, an acquaintance from his own time, who gives Cole a handgun and instructs him to complete his mission. At the same time, Riley spots the true culprit behind the virus, a Dr. Peters, played by David Morse, and an assistant at the Grinds virology lab, trying to say that 3 months fast. Peters is about to embark on a tour of several cities around the world, which matches the sequence memorized by Cole of the viral outbreaks. Cole, while fighting through security, is fatally shot as he tries to stop Peters. As Cole dies in Riley's arms, he makes eye contact with a small boy, the young James Cole, witnessing his own death, a scene that will haunt his dreams for the rest of his life. Dr. Peters, safely on board, sits down next to Jones, one of the scientists from the future. And finally, while the 12 Monkeys makes it into my top 10, well, to start, credit goes to Terry Gilliam, who went from taking part in the popular comedy series Monty Python to directing an imaginative, never mind mind-bender of a film, which has been called a film for the mind, not the senses, in an entertainment standpoint, in which he is honoured in the 1996 Berlin International Film Festival for his directing abilities. Second has to go to Brad Pitt, of course, as his role of Jeffrey Grinds. Again, Pitt showed that he's an extremely diverse actor and can not only take part or take on any role, but can also dominate the screen even when he's only the supporting actor. And the final reason for 12 Monkeys, and probably the best one, has to go to the set design. From the grim surroundings of the post-apocalyptic future to the underground jail cells, and especially the interrogation room where Cole is interviewed by the scientists. The imagination and effort that went into creating these set pieces has to be greatly admired. That's all from me this week. You stay classy, YouTube.
Get out of my chair!